Okay, I'm Dirk, and I'll be the Umze today. My video is off because I'm trying to decrease the amount of bandwidth on my network so that the presentation comes through more clearly. This session is being recorded, so by attending, you agree to be recorded, but you can, your presence will still be known in the recording, but you can hide yourself by turning off your video if you don't want video of yourself to be seen in the recording. And Kathy Montez will be speaking today, but we'll begin with our usual prayers. And if did I leave something out? If somebody can correct me if I left something out, otherwise I'm just going to get started. Teacher, foe destroyer, thus gone, fully and perfectly awakened Buddha, endowed with knowledge and good conduct, gone to bliss, knower of the world, helmsman of ordinary beings to be tamed, supreme one, teacher of all gods and men, Buddha, foe destroyer, glorious victorious one, Shakyamuni, to you I pay homage, make offerings, and go for refuge. Teacher, foe destroyer, thus gone, fully and perfectly awakened Buddha, endowed with knowledge and good conduct, gone to bliss, knower of the world, helmsman of ordinary beings to be tamed, supreme one, teacher of all gods and men, Buddha, foe destroyer, glorious victorious one, Shakyamuni, to you I pay homage, make offerings, and go for refuge. Teacher, foe destroyer, thus gone, fully and perfectly awakened Buddha, endowed with knowledge and good conduct, gone to bliss, knower of the world, helmsman of ordinary beings to be tamed, supreme one, teacher of all gods and men, Buddha, foe destroyer, glorious victorious one, Shakyamuni, to you I pay homage, make offerings, and go for refuge. When you, chief of humans, were born, you took 7 steps on this great earth, and you said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise at that time, I prostrate. Completely pure body, supremely fine form, ocean of wisdom like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, supreme protector, to you I prostrate. Endowed with the supreme marks, a face like the stainless moon, a color like gold, to you I pay homage. The 3 worlds are not like you, who is free from dust. Matchless one, endowed with knowledge, to you I prostrate. Protector endowed with great compassion, omniscient teacher, field of ocean-like merits and good qualities, to the thus gone I prostrate. Through purity, free from attachment, through virtue, releases from the evil gone realms, unique, supreme, ultimate meaning, to the Dharma that brings peace, I prostrate. From freedom, teaching the path, well abiding in the pure trainings, holy field endowed with good qualities, to the Sangha also, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3, ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies, as many as all realms, atoms, and all aspects, with supreme faith, I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous action, accumulate virtue and goodness. Subdue your own mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Like a star, a mirage, a lamp, illusions, drops of dew, bubbles, dreams, lightning and clouds, look at all conditioned phenomena as such. Due to this merit, having attained the state of the all-seeing, and of thereby subduing the enemy of faults, may I liberate migrators from the ocean of existence, stirred by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the positive potential I create by listening to the Dharma, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the joyful happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from holding some close and others distant. Respectfully, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I confess all my negative actions accumulated since beginning this time and rejoice in the virtuous actions of all ordinary and noble beings. Please, Buddha, remain as our guide and turn the wheel of Dharma until samsara ends. Through the merit created by myself and others, may the two bodhicittas ripen, and may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. This offering I make of a precious jeweled mandala, together with other pure offerings and wealth, and the virtues we have collected throughout the 3 times with our body, speech, and mind. O my masters, my yidams, and the 3 precious jewels, I offer all to you with unwavering faith. Accepting these out of your boundless compassion, please send forth waves of your blessings. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalakam Niryatayami. The Heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, the Arya Bhagavati Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Bhagavan was dwelling on massive Vulture's Mountain on Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara, looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, and up to and including no mind element, extinction of ignorance, and so on, and up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayata gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha tayata gate gate paragate. Parasamgate. Tayata gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvati Putra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, Ashuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. It's all yours, Kathy.
Thank you, Dirk. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Patty, for helping me so much get organized. Thank you, Connor, for being here with me. Today I'm going to give a talk, and it's going to be about what I know a little bit about. It's about fitness. And I'm going to try to tie it in to how it has helped me in my practice of Buddhism and vice versa, how Buddhism has helped me in my training practice. And it's called Recovery and Intention. But first of all, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And I so appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. I know many of you have not seen your mom for probably 6 weeks or more, and that's got to be really, really hard, but hopefully you're keeping up the communication via the media. Also, there are those of you who are caring for your moms, living with them, taking care of them, and that's extremely difficult at this time because everybody's kind of stuck together. So my heart goes out to you, and I'm sure your mother is very, very grateful for your care. And then there are those of us who have lost our mom, and they've passed away, and today is a day of remembering. And I remember the first time I read The Four Noble Truths by Geshe Tashi Tsering, and I was a bit surprised to find that the first stage of suffering was that of birth. And I was kind of perplexed by this. And this gave me a whole new perspective on my appreciation for my mom. I know that the teaching was referring to our own birth experience, but having given birth myself, I realized how much my mom suffered for me. And for that, I am forever grateful. So thank you, Mom, and I love you. So a little bit about my background. I'm a personal trainer and strength coach. I've been doing this for about 22 years. I work for a public gym. So I'm able to work with, I have over 20,000 sessions that I've trained with people. I have 6 NASM certificates and a functional movement certificate. And I'm happy to announce that I'm just starting to learn my craft. It has changed so much in the last 22 years. Our awareness of our mind-body connection in all sports has taken a great change. I have an energy that flows through me now that makes me more excited to work with my clients than I've ever been. I started studying Buddhism in 2018 at Lion's Roar. I started in a beginning meditation class, and then I went on to take refuge. My teacher is Lama Yeshe Jinpa, and this has put me on a very positive path, and it's made me really realize how much I am here to serve all people. So I'm never alone on this path. I will continue to walk it until my time to leave. And then hopefully all that positive energy will go on to live forever in the vast universe. My clients are my greatest teachers, and to them, I'm all very, very grateful. So today I'm going to share with you some of the things I've learned from them. And I also want to put a little disclaimer up. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a physical therapist or a chiropractor. This information that I'm going to share with you today is from working with my clients. So the very first thing we're going to do is a warm-up exercise. So everybody has my permission to leave their computer for a moment. And I want you just to focus on my voice and don't think too much about it. Just listen to me. I'm going to cue you, and I want you to really take note of what your body is doing at that moment. So I want you down on your hands and knees, on all fours. If you're on a hardwood floor, I suggest you put a yoga mat, a couple pillows, or something under your knees because you don't want it bone on hardwood floor. If you're on carpet, you'll be fine. I want you to think of and visualize lifting your chest, looking straight out in front of you. And I want your hands directly underneath your shoulders. So there's going to be a nice straight line. Your knees to start can be lined up with your hips. And we're going to do 20 rocking motions. And so you're just going to rock back and forth, just back and forth. And imagine how your body feels while you're doing this. Keep your eyes focused on the low horizon. And as you're rocking back and forth, you can bring your knees a little wider apart, or you can bring them a little closer together. And see how far you can get to maybe touch your bottom to your heels. If you don't have that much flexibility in your knees, then that's fine. But I just want you to think of how the body feels, how your shoulders feel, how your wrists feel, how your hips feel. Do you feel any soreness? Do you feel any tightness? Do you feel any warmth? Do you feel any areas that may be cold or not have enough circulation? You can either have your feet going straight back, or you can have your toes pointing straight down, and that way you get a little movement in the joints of your toes. And just take time. Keep your gaze soft, breath normal, and just feel how that feels. Okay, that should be about 20. So you can come back up to your seats if you want. Or you can just stay on the floor. But we're going to do 2 exercises. And I'll give you a little bit of, we're going to talk about one joint in the body, and that's the knees, because I'll be referring to the knees as examples. And the reason I pick the knees is because as a personal trainer, that's the #1 complaint I get, is sore knees. The second is low back pain. And the third is shoulder pain. And then we go neck and things like that. But knees, generally people come to me because their knees hurt. So you might ask me, why would I put somebody on their hands and knees and rock back and forth? Well, you have to remember, think back to when you were a child, a way tiny child, and you were just learning to move. And you were able to get yourself up onto your hands and knees. And before you even took off crawling, you rocked back and forth. And then all of a sudden, your mama walks into the room and you focus on her, so your eyes will move exactly where your head goes. So you're starting to follow movement, and you've got your vestibular system taking place. So now you're getting a mind and body connection as you rock back and forth. You haven't even taken that first step to crawl, but you spend a lot of time, and then you might just sit back down on your bottom and just kind of contemplate. So just kind of keep that in your mind. And so you have to be functional before you can actually move. And what does that mean? And I'm going to give you an example. So I have a client that comes to me and they have a knee injury, or their knee hurts, their right knee hurts. And they've been to a doctor and they give them some exercises and they come back and it still hurts. And so I take a complete history on this person, and I'm going to go through some functional movement with them so that I can assess, is this a structural problem or is this a functional problem? And a lot of times the two go hand in hand. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg. What came first? Were you structurally not sound and then you became non-functional, or were you just so non-functional that your structure started to take on the dysfunction? So I'll often ask them, well, stand on your right knee, and they will, and balance, and they will stand on that right knee, and they're surprised. Wow, I don't feel any pain. And then I'll say, well, now stand on your left knee. They'll stand on their left knee and they almost fall down. What's going on here? So again, is this an injury problem or a functional problem? So if we treat the injury and it becomes pain-free, and we don't treat the function and try to solve the problem, then we're really going nowhere with this. So when I put people on their hands and knees, and most people, even with sore knees, can do this, they start feeling really well. They say, oh, I'm stretching areas that I haven't stretched in a long, long time. So I suggest, and I do this, is every day when you get up in the morning, you get down on your hands and knees and you rock. It's the first thing you do every day. And this not only will stimulate your vestibular system, but it also stimulates your movement patterns. And it's a wonderful warm-up for meditation. I get up very early in the morning and I meditate. And I always do this before I sit on the cushion. And it helps my hips. And then I'll sometimes, if I'm stiff from sitting on the cushion, I'll rock back and forth. The other thing that happens is it keeps you in neutral spine. So almost everything you do in exercise, whether you're lifting weights, you're doing a deadlift, a squat, a push-up, you want to be in neutral spine. What is it? One of the things we talk about in meditation. We want a nice neutral spine. We don't want it too tight. We don't want it too loose. We want to feel like we're structurally really grounded. So this rocking pattern is really, really good. And I also use this when I have, I also work with special needs population when it comes to brain injury, stroke, Parkinson's disease, MS, a lot of neurological malfunction. I use rocking and crawling. And we'll talk a little bit about crawling, how important that is. But in this particular talk I'm doing today, we're just going to focus on the rocking. So people that, I have people that have rather severe Parkinson's, and they're in that really hunched over Parkinson's posture. When I put them down on their hands and knees, their spine is able to straighten out. And that is such a good feeling to them, because it's the first time that they're able to be straight unless they're lying flat on their back. It isn't there to solve the problem of Parkinson's. I'm not curing Parkinson's. I'm just giving them an opportunity to become functional. So let's review what we've learned. Before you can run, you have to walk. Before you can walk, you have to crawl. Before you can crawl, you need to be able to be static or stabilize. Babies, but even before they get into the crawling position, will get on their stomachs and they'll bring their elbows underneath them. And you have to realize a baby has a ginormous head compared to their bodies. And that there's a reason for that. And that helps them become strong in their core, because they have to balance this big head. So what they'll do is they'll prop themselves up and they'll stare at a toy. They'll stare at their mom. They'll stare at their dad. They'll stare at a light. And again, the eye movement moves with the head. And so this again is stimulating their brain and helping them make the brain connection to their bodies. The word stabilize, I love that word. Say it to yourself and you begin to breathe easier and feel more balanced. So we're just doing a little experiment here. Just kind of sit quietly. And I want you to say stabilize 3 times to yourself. So it's almost impossible not to say that word, stabilize, and the next time you say it again, you take a breath. And this I found to be really interesting, because this reminds me of my own meditation practice right now at my stage of learning Buddhism, and it's called Schemata Meditation. And the definition, which is so exciting to me, of Schemata Meditation is meditative quiescence or calm abiding, a form of meditation which creates a stable mind capable of focusing single-pointedly on emptiness or any other phenomenon, access to the first meditative stabilization. And so when I heard that definition, I thought, that's awesome, because when I was training, I was a power lifter. I know that's hard to believe that someone my size could lift almost twice my body weight, but I could. And the first thing you learned was to stabilize, to focus. You know, when I was getting ready to do a deadlift, when I would get down in that position, I had to focus on everything that I was doing. I had to stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. And I said that to myself over and over again. So when I read that definition, I was really, really excited. In training our bodies for sports or living, we need to build stability to become fully functional. When we are doing yoga practice or in the gym lifting weights, we need to be focusing single-mindedly on the muscles we are firing or stretching. So if we're lifting dumbbell curls, we're not going to be focusing, we're going to be focusing on our total body, but we're really going to focus on the muscle that we're working. And hopefully you end up with a good instructor that will help you learn how to do that, so you can really, really become mindful. So remember this phrase, where my focus goes, my energy flows. And that, to me, I use that in all parts of my life, whether I'm, working on a project, whether I was working on this talk, where my focus goes, my energy flows. So you want to remember that. I use it all the time. So how do we achieve that perfect stable body capable of running, jumping, climbing at any age? We need good instruction, a map of sorts. My teacher, Lama Jinpa, reminds all of us that he says, we cannot go to the coast in our cars without first knowing how to drive, right? You got to learn how to turn the car on. We got to learn how to adjust the mirrors, seat. We need to learn how to put it in gear. So there's all kinds of things we have to learn first before we actually can drive the car. Once we're proficient at driving the car, then we need to know how to get where we're going. And how do we do that? We use a map. We need good instruction. We need a plan, a map. And I need a plan and a map to be a good trainer. Now, I know everybody uses GPS now, but those of us who travel in the wilderness, sometimes we don't have GPS. We don't have a way to navigate, so we have to use a map. So mapping out what we're doing is really, really important. So here we go. So when do we recognize we need help? In fitness, when we physically hurt, no matter how many shots, drugs, surgeries we have, if we do not stabilize and work on the dysfunction, we will repeat the injury and then it will become chronic. The good news is the body and mind, and we learned that connection because we were rocking and we learned the connection between the body and mind, can heal themselves with the proper direction. And it is my belief that we were created, we had everything we needed to be perfectly healthy and strong. Our life choices cause this physical discomfort, and now we need good instruction. We need good doctors, we need good therapies, we need good personal trainers. And how do we know? How do we know they're good? And I remember right before I took refuge, Lama was coaching us on, don't just take my word for it. Shop around. Go to other sanghas, go to other temples, do some reading. Make sure that this is a good fit for you, because it's not a one size fits all. And that's the same thing with finding a good doctor, finding a good physical therapist, finding a good chiropractor, and a good personal trainer. And hopefully all four of these professionals will be on the same page, so they understand the importance of being really functional. And part of what you're going to look for is that they're going to look to see how your body functions. Remember that little test I gave you? Your right knee hurt, but man, you could not balance on that left side. What caused that is not important right now. I mean, I can give you some answers to that. But the important thing is, you thought it was a right knee problem. It could be a left leg problem. It could be a left shoulder problem. We don't know. All we know is it's manifesting itself in the right knee. So they will take a history, they will get to know you, and they might even give you some reading to do. We have to take responsibility, though, for our own health. And we have to do the work. They can give us a pill, they can tell us, take anti-inflammatories, but, unless we do the work, we're probably not going to get better. And it reminds me of what Lama says. Meditation is a part of the training. Going out and living as good, helpful people is the practice. So we have to find a good teacher. The message we often get from exercise instructions and in the industry, and I know this because I spend a lot of time in the industry, is just to push through it. No pain, no gain. I think we can all agree that this is not a good system. Will there be some muscle pain? Yes. As the muscle adapts to an exercise, there's going to become tiny little tears that happen. And as those tears heal, more fiber will be added onto that, and that's how the muscle grows. So, but we're going to feel some pain, and this is often referred to medically as delayed onset muscle soreness. And that's normal, but that won't last. That may last at the most 3 or 4 days, and then it should go away. Joint pain is not okay. That could be the sign of a deeper issue and signals us to stop, evaluate what's going on, and we want to look at early detection, not a full blown out injury. When you seek medical professional, you don't want to just become the knee injury in waiting room number 3. Okay, that's really important. You only to be given like an anti-inflammatory or a stretch, and then a month down the road you come back and your stomach is hurting. Now you become the GI problem in number 4. So that's kind of important. And so here's what I ask many of my clients to ask their doctors. Is this a structural problem? Which now they're going to go, oh no, maybe I need an x-ray. Or is it a functional problem? And they might go, maybe you need to go to physical therapy. So really take responsibility, go in with some information, and generally, and if you're not satisfied, don't stop there, because there is a problem. So you want to get to the bottom of the problem. You want to be, what I always say, the goal here is to make you more independent and to make that independence more sustainable. Every person is unique. You may have the same diagnosis as your neighbor, but that does not mean that the treatment is the same, because your behaviors are totally different. Example, this is going to be a big, long diagnosis. Cotter Malaysia patella. Sounds horrible, huh? It's a really common knee problem. A lot of people have it. Sometimes it won't allow you to squat. Other people has it, and it won't allow them to balance on the knee that's affected. Now, should you be treated the same way? Absolutely not. Okay, so that's when you need to get to a good doctor or therapist that watches not only your movement, but gives you good reasoning for what's going on. Luckily in Sacramento, and I know this for a fact because I work with many of them, or I refer people to them, we have a lot of sports medicine doctors that are really, really good. We have some amazing chiropractors. I mean, sure, a lot of you that have been runners have worked with some of them, and good therapists. So there's no reason why you have to feel like when you walk out of the office, when you have these problems, you have to feel helpless, because there is help out there. So let's review a little bit. If we hurt in our joints, we know why. We need to know why. One size does not fit everybody. Each person is very unique. We need to move healthy through our lives. Movement should make us smile and laugh. Let's play like children again. The great yogis did not develop their practice from sitting. They knew in order to sit for hours, they had to develop training unique to the movement patterns so that they can stay supple. Okay, and that's been going on forever and ever and ever. So, exercise number 2. You're going to get back down on your hands and knees. And then again, I want those knees padded, not horribly padded, but just enough so that you can be comfortable. And again, I want you to listen to me, and I want you to just focus on how your body feels. You're going to stack your shoulders and your hands So your fingers are going to be, you're going to actually bring your fingers out like this. So you have a nice base. Your knees are right under your hips. So your feet can either be out behind you, so you're actually resting on your instep, or you can have your toes pointed down. From here, you're going to lift your chest really tall. You're going to extend your right arm out, and you're going to extend your left leg out. And you're going to hold. And you're going to breathe. And you're going to softly gaze in front of you. And you're going to come back to the starting position. Now, if for some reason you were not able to make that, you were able to bring your arm out, but you're not able to lift your leg up, that's fine. Just extend the leg out behind you and keep your toe on the ground until you feel stable enough, and then just lift it slightly. So now we're going to do the opposite side. And just stretch it right out. So let's do about 20 of these and just relax into the pose. I'm getting some objection here back in the studio. Just do it, Connor, okay? Anyway, play along with me. And relax. And just enjoy it. Feel what that feels like. It feels good. Feel what goes on. How does it feel? You feel strong? Let your breathing just be normal, but make sure you are breathing. Breath is so important in everything we do. It's really interesting to find out that we actually have to coach people to breathe. All right. So everybody just relax. You can either come back up to the to your computers, or you can stay seated on the floor. So I'm going to give you a prescription now for exercising. And the first thing I have to say is it has to be challenging. I work with people that are so afraid to lift heavy because for some reason someone has given them this idea that it's not good for them. Well, it is good for you. And your body will adapt rather quickly. So I want it to be challenging. I don't want it to feel so light that you can do 15 or 20 or 30 repetitions and you're not feeling anything. You have to have your complete concentration. And I strongly believe this. And this is one of the things that I don't like about working in a public gym. If I had my own studio, there would be no TVs. There would be maybe music. I don't know if it's motivational, but there definitely would be no cell phones. You would either chuck them at the door or turn them off, and there would be no talking with your friends. You have to give your full and total concentration on this, or otherwise you might as well just go home and not do it at all. And as a trainer, I fully believe that, because we're here for a purpose, and we have to, if we're not have our focus on it 100%, we're not going to be able to stabilize. And if we can't stabilize, we're going to either get injured or it's not going to make any difference. Do strength training at least twice a week. And again, like I said, it needs to be challenged. It needs to challenge your proprioception. And that all that means is the perception or awareness of the position and the movement of your body. So you need to be aware. That's where having a trainer or a coach or a good teacher can help you, because they can actually position your body and give you that opportunity. Again, strength training releases a bunch of unique hormones that promote brain function and fat loss. brain function, they're finding all this research now, and I do this with MS as much as I can. If they can have a fully functional side of their body, we work that side and we do the best we can on the side of the body that's not functional or that has been damaged by the MS. Or if we're working with Parkinson's, I put them in a position where they can use the weights. We do some boxing. I have a punching bag available to me. So I'm able to put that out there, and we can use a punching bag. So that really works on their proprioception. You have left brain, right brain, and we all kind of understand that the left brain is your analytical brain, your right brain is your feel-good brain, and we need both of those brains functioning. If you're too left-brained, you're kind of the engineer, sort of, you're not the touchy-feely kind of person. If you're too left-brained, you're too touchy-feely, and so you want that really good balance between both sides. And I know that was totally, to all you psychotherapists out there, that was probably not a very good description, but this is basically what happens when you have left brain, right brain. And you want to do high intensity cardio training at least 2 days a week. And you want to go short bursts. So you're really pushing yourself all out and then you recover. And then you really push yourself all out and recover. So you only need to do this for about 15 minutes or even 10 minutes, as long as you get your heart rate up. And then get outside as much as possible. Maybe you're not going to exercise outside. You're not going to do your formal training outside, but you need to get outside at least 20 minutes a day, get some sun, ideally around trees or a beach. The human brain responds to nature in a positive and wonderful way. And have the good intention every day to do something good. Find a good teacher or a trainer. Meditate every day, eat healthy, and laugh a lot. And thank you so very much for listening to this talk. I'm passionate about it. And if anybody has any questions, I can take some questions at that time. I also want to recommend some reading. I've taken clinics from both of these gentlemen. Tim Anderson with Original Strength is wonderful for parents who have children who are doing soccer, baseball, any kind of sports, because he really, really helps you understand how to keep them functional and injury-free. And then Gray Cook, who has, he's a great mentor to me, and I recommend his book, Athletic Body and Balance. And these are easy reads, they're fun, and anyway, Dirk may post them up there, but you can find them on Amazon. And thank you again. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Love you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. If there's any questions, feel free to just jump right in.
Kathy, this is
Yes,
Susan.
Heather.
Hey, this is Susan.
Oh, Susan, hi.
Hey, hi.
Hi. Hi.
I love the talk, and the parallels were implicit with meditation, and it was just really, really wonderful. I thought
I was going to start to cry. When I was practicing, I cried every time I did it. I didn't cry through this, but I thought for sure I'd start crying because I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And I know you're a meditator and an exerciser, so.
Yeah, so yeah, that was really, really, really good. I just love the implicit parallel, and I hope everybody got it, because it was like just right there.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Hi, Kathy. Can you hear me?
Hi.
This is Sue. On my telephone. and I want to thank you. That was really marvelous. And just put a little of my idea in that you know how important I feel that the body-mind connection is. I've been doing Kundalini yoga, which is very active.
Yes.
It's not just stretching and things. It's a very active breath and movement yoga. And I've been doing that for like 30 years. And I always do that before I meditate, at least some of it. And I just want to say thank you for more detail and more information on how important to prepare your body for sitting really is. I don't think people understand that very much. I think they often just go sit on the cushion and don't realize that relaxing your body physically and focusing physically also is very important for you to get that mind focus. So I want to just say, wow, bravo. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We have a question from Nicholas as well regarding finding functional. Nicholas, are you out there? Would you like to ask your question?
I might be able to answer it if he just wants to know more about what actual functionality is.
Yeah, the question is, can you define functional a little bit more in your distinction between structural and functional?
Right. So functional is movement. So it's our ability to be able to tap into our structure, you know, our bones, our ligaments, our joints, all of that holds us up as human beings, upright. And then the functionality is the connection that the brain makes with the movement. So I think if you would love to read Tim Anderson's book, it's just a little tiny book, but he really has that functionality connection, how when we were infants, we had to tap into that before we could even start to walk, before we could even get on our hands and knees, before we can even lift our heads. So that's basically what function is in the exercise modality, and that's what it is to us as personal trainers. And I don't know if we have any physical therapists out there, but I know that that's how I relate to it. Does that answer your question? Thank you for the question.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, I really enjoyed the talk as well, Kathy. Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're going to finish with prayers. And so Dirk will finish reading those and then give us maybe any announcements that we have that we need to know about. And again, thank you so much. It is just such an honor to be here and be part of this group.
Hi, Kathy, it's Dana. Real quick, can you go over again what your nice talk? Thank you so much. Can you go over again what your recommendations are for a weekly workout schedule? Yeah.
So you're gonna, first of all, I have it. I wish if I knew more about about how to run the computers and all that. So first of all, you know, it has to be challenging. You have to get a sweat on. Just think about that. You know about no cell phones. No, shut everything off. It's just all about you. Do strength training twice a week. That means your weights, your bands, body strength, push-ups, sit-ups, not sit-ups, but core work like plank, things like that. And then your high intensity cardio, go all out, whether it be for some people, it might just be marching in place. For others of you that have had a lot of training, you might be able to actually go out and jog from telephone to telephone pole, and then walk, and then jog to the next telephone pole, and then walk. So you want a recovery, and then you want to push yourself. If you're on a stationary bike, you want to pedal as fast as you can, and then go into your recovery mode. Each person has a different heart rate, so I'm not going to get into all that high, low heart rate stuff because that's more technical. Maybe somewhat time down the line I can tie that in, but just make it challenging and focused. Does that help, Dana?
That helps a lot. I'm thinking now that it's getting warmer out, like how do you, maintain social distancing and
you run really fast, and that way you're not near anybody. Or Dana, you get up early.
What? Kathy, this is
I know.
awesome. This is what makes you a good personal trainer.
You get up early and you do your work. And then for your cool down, you can go home and do your rocking and do your meditation.
I don't know what's worse, the meditation or the high intensity workout.
I don't know. They're both high intensity, aren't they? Good to talk to you. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Dirk. Thank you all.
Thanks, Kathy. I really enjoyed your talk too, although I think Del had one more question. Looked like she was asking, is there a difference between joint and muscle pain?
Oh, absolutely. So you've cooked a chicken, right? So you got this chicken laying on your counter. And, well, if you haven't, okay, I don't know. I'm just saying that's kind of how I learned about muscles. In fact, it was a real awakening when I learned that I was actually eating the muscle of the animal. That was that kind of turned me off. But anyway, a joint is what connects the muscle tissue to one part of the body to the bone. Okay, so you'll have bone and joint, and then you have this muscle that comes over the top of it. And then over the top of the muscle, you actually have a fascia, or this white kind of layer. If you peel the body back, you'll see this white layer. And so the joint is the actual bone, and that's where things like arthritis, misalignment, bursa sac, all that feeds the joint, that's where the problem, the real pain can come in. Now, can you have muscle pain and torn muscle? Absolutely. But there are two different layers in the body. So muscles generally recover pretty quickly. Joints tend to get arthritis, bursa sac problems, bursitis. You'll hear all these terms. And so we want to make sure that we treat the joint, but we also want to make sure that we're not putting undue pressure on that joint because there's misfunction on another part of the body. So that's where a good assessment comes in. Okay? Does that answer the question, Del? Sorry about the chicken.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Susan. Susan has a question too.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question, and it came about when I was thinking of the parallel between what you have been teaching and meditation. And what about endurance? What about being in, like going, sprinting is fine. But if you want to run even just a 10K, you need to have some endurance. Or if you want to bike a century, then you need some endurance. Or if you want to sit for an hour and a half. So what about endurance training?
That's an excellent question. I've done all of it. I've run marathons. I've done 100-mile rides on my bike. And I will tell you that I would just go out there and it'd be, we called it time under saddle with the bike, or just time on the pavement, getting our muscles used to, you know, pounding. And that was all good. And that is a great point. But what helped me the most was when I learned about the Fartlek training, when I learned about the short bursts of energy that I did on my cycling. That really built my cardiovascular system up. But there, you're right. Thank you for pointing that out. That time under saddle or time on the cushion is equally as important. And then again, it comes to all the mind, you know, teaching the mind to sit. Thank you for pointing that out. I should have brought that into my talk, but you do have to go out there and put in the mileage. But when I really started to become an athlete and compete in these Olympic triathlons, level triathlons, that's when I learned the sprint work. And that was the hard work. That was really hard. You know, I could go out there and jog. Finally, you get 10, 11 miles. But when you put that sprint work in, it really challenged the body. Does that answer it?
It does. Thank you.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Thank you.
That makes me think of baseball practice that we used to do, wind sprints.
Yes.
Which was the most challenging part of the entire practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that helped you, you know, when you were a second baseman or a third baseman, you know, to be able to reach out, tag out a runner, or get to the base, you know. So
it also helped the endurance, actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so for our closing prayers. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel, bodhicitta, that has not arisen, arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. May the teachings of the Buddha flourish, and may the upholders of the teachings remain forever. May all migrators achieve happiness, and may they fulfill all their temporary and ultimate goals. Losang, magical display of the deep awareness of all the victorious ones, merciful giver of a stream of profound and vast instructions to the fortunate migrators, please remain always unperishing, unchanging, unfading. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of objectless compassion. Manju Shri, master of flawless wisdom. Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the snowy land sages. Losang Dragpa, I make request at your holy feet. And we have one more, which is, the prayer that saved Sakya from sickness, the verses that saved Sakya from sickness, a prayer for pacifying the fear of disease by Tangtong Gyalpo. May all the diseases that disturb the minds of sentient beings and which result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of spirits, illness, and the elements, never occur throughout the realms of this world. May whatever sufferings arise due to life-threatening diseases, which like a butcher leading an animal to the slaughter, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, never occur throughout the realms of this world. May all embodied beings remain unharmed by acute, chronic, and infectious diseases, the mere names of which can inspire the same terror as would be felt in the jaws of Yama, Lord of Death. May the 80,000 classes of harmful obstructors, the 360 evil spirits that harm without warning, the 424 types of disease, and so forth, never cause harm to any being. May whatever sufferings arise due to disturbances in the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every pleasure, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, the power of the dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the strength of the infallibility of karma and its results, may these many dedications and prayers be fulfilled as soon as they are made. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Kathy.
Omahong, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kathy.
Are there any announcements? I should have asked that before, I think. But...
Yes, there's an announcement. Lama will teach tomorrow, most likely for Buddha Dharma program at 7 p.m. Also, we are not going to be sending out email announcements for the weekly practices, so make sure you check the Roar Dharma Center calendar at www.lionsroardharmacenter.com/calendars. They're all there, and please set your own reminders. They are wonderful. Thank you. I have no other announcements.
Connor, why aren't we sending out weekly emails anymore?
Because people don't like them.
Well, I'm, for one, like them. So,
Sorry.
well, maybe we should have a poll.
No poll. I get lots of bad emails.
Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry about that, Connor.
What was the announcement of what did you say, Monday?
Buddha Dharma study program. As of right now, Lama will be teaching tomorrow night for Buddha Dharma study program at 7 p.m.
Was there something after that?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, okay. I thought so. Sorry. Thank you.
Maybe what you thought was after that, Amy, was that he said we're not sending out email reminders anymore about practices.
That might be it. Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you.
I guess that's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good seeing everybody. I'll hang on until everybody's gone. Is there anything else going on today? I think that's it, yeah?
It's the only thing I know about.
Okay. That's what I thought. Which one of your cats is that, Dirk?
Oh, that's Bragi when he was very small. He was like 6 inches tall.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
If that, yeah, that's what he's sitting there with is he's sitting next to a little jewelry box that looks big next to him, and but that's characteristic of him. He's talking.
Oh yeah, he's chatty.
Yeah, he's a very chatty cat. He's Siamese. He's black, but he's a black cat, but he's really fully almost like a purebred Siamese.
Mm. Yeah, they're kind of a regal cat, in my opinion. Elegant.
Oh yeah, very. And they're very friendly, very loyal, very smart.
Good combination of things.
But you know, they are a solid personality. You have to deal with them. If they live with you, you have to recognize their autonomy.
Yeah, I've noticed that with cats.